Hi everyone, today we are coming to the end of the video lecture series on nature matters. Thank you for the support that you have given us. We have Amritha Vydoori with us for the last class. Hi Amritha.
Hi sir.
Hope you are fully charged to go local.
Sure sir. I'm happy to handle the last lesson, Going Local, written by Helena Norberg-Hodge.
Okay, thank you. All the best.
Thank you. Welcome to the lecture based on the 4th chapter of Module 3 of the textbook Nature Matters, Readings on Life and Nature. This is prescribed for the 2nd semester UG English Common Course students of Kannur University as course 2A03ENG. This is an essay entitled Going Local, written by Helena Norberg-Hodge. Helena Norberg-Hodge is an analyst of the impact of global economy on cultures and agriculture worldwide. She is a pioneer of the localization movement and the founder-director of the International Society for Ecology and Culture. She received the Right Livelihood Award or the Alternative Nobel Prize as recognition for her work in Ladakh. In this essay, she talks about the importance of promoting and supporting local producers in the era of globalization. She implores us to move away from the global systems of commerce to the local. Now, the term going local is a slogan to endorse local businesses that will support local communities and which in turn will have less impact on the environment. The essay calls for sustainable living solutions to the problems of global warming, economic wars and pollution. Now, through this essay, Helena Norberg-Hodge draws our attention to the burning issues of global warming, toxic pollution and species extinction with fundamentalism, terrorism and fear that we are facing today. She says that we human beings are to be blamed for this. Our greed is the cause, and we as individuals must change our consumer habits. She asks us to join hands together to find a solution for these problems and to reverse the environmental and social breakdown. She opines that if we deal with this crisis individually, we won't get very far. We need to stand back and look at the bigger picture. It then becomes obvious that the driving force behind our crisis is a corporate-led globalization. So what we can do is we can join our hands together and we can attempt to find solution for these problems. The most powerful solutions involve a fundamental or a basic change in direction, that is towards localizing rather than globalizing economic activity. In fact, going local is the most effective thing that we can do. Localization is a process of decentralization, of shifting economic activity back into the hands of local businesses rather than concentrating it in the hands of fewer and fewer mega corporations. For example, today you can see a proliferation of shopping malls where you can get all the things that you want under one roof. Here, everything is packed and displayed in such a manner that the consumers are attracted to buy things easily. The profit of all this goes to the hands of a few mega corporates. Now here, Helena provides us with an alternative strategy which will benefit and uplift the condition of local businessmen. And now she gives us several examples of localization. Food is a clear example of the multi-layered benefits of localization. Since food is a primary necessity of life and it is something that everyone everywhere needs every day, a shift from global food to local food would have a great impact socially, economically and environmentally. Now what is local food? Local food is simply the food that is produced for local and regional consumption. And due to this reason, the food miles is relatively small in the case of local food. Food miles is the distance that a food travels from where it is produced to where it is consumed or purchased by the end user. Less food miles means it is more sustainable. How does it become sustainable? It becomes sustainable because it reduces the fossil fuel use for the transportation of food products, and this in turn reduces pollution. There are numerous other environmental benefits as well. More food miles means it is less sustainable. Take for example, most of the rice that we eat today is not cultivated in Kerala. It is brought here from different parts of the country. That means the food miles is more or longer. Now if it is cultivated in Kerala, the food miles will be less and it will become more sustainable. Similar is the case with other eatables too. Helena lists some of the benefits of localization of food. She distinguishes between the monocultural production and diversified farming. The global markets demand monocultural production, that is, production of a single crop in large numbers. Usually cash crops like tea, coffee, jute, cotton, etc. are grown in large numbers. This systematically eliminates all but the cash crops from the land. Whereas the local markets support small farmers and provide them incentive or support to practice diversified farming. This creates niche on the farm for wild plants and animal species. They use organic methods. This also helps in eliminating a major cause of soil erosion, as the diversified farms cannot use the heavy machinery like tractors that are used in monocultural production. Local food systems have economic benefits too. In the case of local food, most of the money spent on local food goes into the hands of small farmers and not to the corporate middlemen. Small diversified farms can help refresh rural economies since they employ far more people per acre than the monocultural production, which largely depends on machines. Wages paid to the local farmers benefit local economies and communities and are spent locally than the money paid for the heavy equipment and the fuel to run it, which is directly drained off to the equipment manufacturers and oil companies. In the case of local farming, money goes to the hands of the local farmers. And now she tells us about the benefits of local food. Local food is usually far fresher and therefore more nutritious than global food. It also needs fewer preservatives or other additives. In the case of local food, farmers grow varieties that are best suited for their climate and soil. And in our surroundings, we can see organizations like Kudumbashree, where people of an area come together and they make varieties of food products like pickles, appams, jams, etc. using the locally available fruits and vegetables. They allow flavor and nutrition to take precedence over transportability, shelf life, and other whims of global markets. This is a main difference that you can spot between the global food and local food. Local farmers integrate animal husbandry with crop production. This provides a healthier and a more humane condition for animals and a non-chemical source of fertilizers. Now, food security worldwide would increase if people depended more on local food. Instead of being concentrated in a handful of corporations, the control over food would be dispersed and decentralized. If developing countries were encouraged to use their labor and their best agricultural land for local needs rather than growing luxury crops for northern markets, the rate of endemic hunger could be eliminated. Studies show that small-scale diversified farms have a higher total output per unit of land than large-scale monocultures. And global food is also very costly, though most of this cost does not show up in their supermarket price. Helena says, instead, a large portion of what we pay for global food comes out of our taxes. The tax that we pay to fund research into pesticides and biotechnology, to subsidize the transport, communications and energy infrastructures the system requires, and to pay for the foreign aid that pulls third world economies into this destructive global system. We pay in other ways for the environmental costs as well, and we will still be paying for generations to come. Now she says, when we buy local food, we can actually pay less because we are not paying for the excessive transport, wasteful packaging, advertising and chemical additives. And we are paying only for the fresh, healthy and nutritious food. And most of the food dollar isn't going to the bloated corporate agribusinesses, but it goes into the hands of the local farmers. The benefits of localization are not limited to food. It can be seen in a wide range of activities too. In the case of medicine, many doctors and patients are rejecting the commercialized medical mainstream in favor of more preventative and holistic approaches, often making use of local herbs and more traditional methods. Many architects are finding inspiration in vernacular building styles and are employing more local and natural materials in their work. Farmers are shifting to organic practices. Dietary preferences among consumers are shifting away from processed food with colorings, flavorings and preservatives towards fresher foods in their natural state. Most of the people are becoming health conscious and they prefer to eat healthy. Community supported projects like local media outlets, radio, television, art and journals help people to reconnect to each other and learn about their surroundings. Spaces for people to gather and socialize help to revitalize community and to bring about a sense of belonging. In this age of escalating ecological crisis, localization is a key to reducing waste and pollution and conserving our precious resources. Small businesses provide meaningful employment and keep money circulating in the local economy. So Helena Norberg-Hodge suggests that there should be national and international policy changes that help these grassroots efforts. She opines that it is necessary to pressure the government to develop a breakaway strategy forming an international alliance of nations to leave the WTO and formulate policies that would protect the environment and human rights. These policies would move society away from dependence on a few monopolies and promote small scale on a large scale, allowing space for more local economies to flourish and spread. Through localization, we open ourselves up to a world of richness and diversity. We can thus achieve true sustainability and well-being for ourselves, our community and the planet. Now, let us discuss some of the comprehension questions. Question number 1. Who, according to the author, is the cause of the planet's woes? Why? Answer. According to the author, the greed of the human beings is the root cause of the planet's woes. The disasters like global warming, toxic pollution, and species extinction are the direct results of human activity. Question number 2. What is the driving force behind the world crisis? What is the solution? Answer. Corporate-led globalization is the driving force behind the world crisis, and it can be solved by going local. Question number 3. Define localization. Answer. Localization is a form of decentralization where the economic activity is shifted back into the hands of local business instead of concentrating it in fewer and fewer mega corporations. Question number 4. What is local food? Answer. Local food is the food produced for local and regional consumption. Food miles is relatively less in the case of local food. It reduces pollution and the use of fossil fuel. Question number 5. What are the economic benefits of local food systems? Answer. In the case of local food systems, most of the money spent on food goes to the farmer and not to the corporate middlemen. This helps the rural economies to reinvigorate as it provides more job opportunities to the local farmers. Question number 6. What are the ecological benefits of local food systems? Answer. Food miles is relatively less in the case of local food. It reduces pollution and the use of fossil fuel. Question number 7. What is monocultural production? Answer. Monocultural production refers to an agricultural practice in which a single crop is produced in large numbers. Question number 8. Explain the effects of monocultural production on the environment. Answer. The effects of monocultural production include soil erosion and pest infections. It can also reduce diversification of crops. Question number 9. What are the other areas in which going local has had benefits? Answer. Going local has had its benefits in the field of medicine, architecture, organic practices in farming, and dietary preferences. Question number 10. Why, according to the author, should we follow diversified farming? Answer. Diversified farming can provide fresh, healthy, and nutritious food items. They can reduce the use of fossil fuels and can also reduce the money wasted for packaging, advertising, and transport. Question number 11. In what way can the governments help in reducing pressure on the environment? Answer. Government has to bring policy changes at national and international level and also use methods like breakaway strategy to enhance small scale and local economies. With that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you.